What's up, guys? Part-time Gamer Dad here. I join you today from the inside of my lovely car because my twin toddlers are asleep. Got to make sure they get those naps in. But we can't stop with the content because last night was WrestleMania 40 Night 2. So let's hop into the review. So right off rip, Night 2 was better than Night 1. And we started off really well with Night 1. One of my favorite matches of Night 1, which is Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. But this night started off with a banger of Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. An incredibly emotional and just heated match with a lot of energy and a lot of stakes. I think Seth Rollins has had one heck of a World Heavyweight Championship run, being the inaugural champion, technically, for this iteration of the title. And I've always felt that Drew McIntyre should have been the one to dethrone him, and I was really happy to see him finally realize his dream, his goal of winning a world championship in front of a crowd, especially at the greatest WrestleMania of all time. That's their tagline for WrestleMania 40. I think the one thing that I didn't like about this, and there was only a singular thing, was it was kind of a finish spam. So there's a lot of Claymores, a lot of stomps. I think it kind of devalued the Claymore by the end, taking so many Claymores to put Seth down. However, Seth has been a fighting champion. It's kind of been his MO throughout his run and this current reign. And I think Drew did a great job really just taking him down and winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, obviously, that's not where the matchup ended. And then Drew McIntyre, after winning the world title, was smack-talking CM Punk, who was on commentary. And CM Punk took off the arm brace from his tricep injury that was caused at the hands of Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble, attacked Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest, Senior Money in the Bank, comes out, cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, and wins the World Heavyweight Championship with a South of Heaven chokeslam. Overall, between the match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, as well as the cash-in and success of winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Damian Priest, I give this overall 4.5 stars out of 5. This was one of the best matches and story beats and moments of WrestleMania 40 as a whole. And I love that now we've had Damian Priest and Seth Rollins both successfully cash in their contracts at WrestleMania. It was really fun to see Damian Priest walk up the ramp, and Judgment Day brethren and Rhea Ripley were there to congratulate him. A great, almost kind of like feel-good moment for the Judgment Day and for Damian Priest, especially after his loss the night before in the tag team title six-pack ladder match. But really great, strong start to the show. Next up, we had the Pride versus the Final Testament in a 6-man Philadelphia street fight. Coming into this match, there was not one match I could have cared less about than this match, but holy cow, did it over-delivered. It really under-promised, over-delivered. There wasn't a whole lot of heat coming into this thing. They tried to give the presentation that there was heat because it's just been such a long feud between Bobby and Karrion, and they get AOP involved, get the Street Profits involved, get Scarlett involved, B-Fab. But I think they did a really great job. Snoop on commentary was a highlight of both nights of WrestleMania. He did an incredible job. He was very, very funny. I thought Bubba Ray Dudley coming as the special referee was great because he wasn't really noticeable as a special guest referee until the end when Karrion Kross tried to mess with him a little bit and he put on those Dudley Boy glasses. And we had all of the closing elements of the match with the what's up and the spear and the frog splash through the table. Really funny to see Karrion Kross break the table just by being put on it. That was an actual laugh out loud moment by myself and my brother watching the show. I think overall, even though it wasn't a great match, it was fun. And I think that's what you need. You need those fun matches at WrestleMania that, even though they may not be technically sound, they may not be a 4 or 5 star match, it's incredibly serviceable and over-delivered against expectations. So I give it 3 stars out of 5. Speaking of another match that felt like it had some prolonged feuding, was AJ Styles versus LA Knight. This has been going on for a long time, especially since the beginning of this year, before Royal Rumble, in the lead up to that Fatal 4-Way involving Randy Orton and Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. I think that the match was fine. it's had a lot of heat building up to it, and it did start off very quick, and I thought that AJ Styles really put LA Knight over, and all of the bumps he took for him, especially with his increased bulk of muscle mass. He was flying all over the place and really giving LA Knight the rub that LA Knight needed. AJ didn't need to win this match, and I'm glad he didn't. I think LA Knight really needed to cement himself with a solid win over an established main eventer like he did last night. This is 3 out of 5 stars. I think it could have gone into a higher gear and got a higher score, but it just didn't really seem to hit beyond that beginning stages of a third gear, ending with the phenomenal forearm attempt. LA Knight pushes him off, brings him back in, BFT. We didn't even get to see the Megastar elbow or any of that, so definitely a little bit lacking compared to what we probably wanted to see in this match, and I felt like AJ was holding back a little bit. Maybe we have additional matches coming, like at Backlash France, but overall, still a decent match, plenty enjoyable and entertaining, so 3 out of 5. Now we get to the triple threat between Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton for the United States Championship. This match was fun. It was fun. It was expected to be. I think there was a lot of really great cohesion between the three guys, and that's what I like to see from my triple threat matches. Very similar to Obafemi, Dijak, and Josh Briggs at NXT Stand and Deliver for the North American Championship, the triple threats for the mid-card titles. They always show out. But this one was really fun, and I think there's a great dynamic. I said this in one of my prediction videos that I thought that Orton and Owens were going to kind of team up and really go after Logan Paul, and then they eventually would have to realize they have to turn on each other. I like how it played out that Orton went to attack Owens and was like, sorry, I got to do what I got to do, and led to some really great interactions between those two. They work so well together. Logan Paul still continues to show that he's a natural. Obviously had a little bit of an issue with that buckshot lariat that then got turned into a scoop slam, I believe, by Randy Orton. And just Randy Orton all over the place. He is one of the greatest of all time just because of how smooth he is even at this age. Kevin Owens had some really, really fun moments. He was going for pop-up powerbombs all over the place. When he came out and he was on the golf cart and he invited Randy Orton to join him during Randy's entrance, and Randy hopped on. Love that moment. Also love the callback to the night before where Kevin Owens saw Sammy right before Gorilla and said, go get this. This is your moment. And then Sammy was there waiting for Kevin Owens. That was great. I Show Speed being underneath the Prime bottle was kind of funny, but I also think not as much of an impact as KSI the year before. I think it was kind of a weird spot and a weird choice, but hey, to each their own. I think overall this match did deliver on what we expected, but it wasn't anything way over the top. I think if you were expecting Kevin Owens or Randy Orton to win, I'm sorry. I just don't see a world where it's not LA Knight taking that title away from Logan Paul. So with all that being said, I gave this one 3 3/4 out of 5 stars. I think incredibly serviceable match. Really, really well done with the right winner. It just never quite got to that gear that we would have wanted to see to really put it way over the top. But in terms of the cohesion and the fluidity of a triple threat match, really well done. One of the matches that I've been most looking forward to is Bayley versus Io Sky, especially the way that they played it out, very similar to Batista and Triple H from the 2005 build of the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 21, where they had been planting seeds. They've been planting this idea in the head of Batista to go after the World Heavyweight Championship at JBL. The WWE Championship with JBL at WrestleMania 21 to keep him from going for the World Heavyweight Championship and Triple H at WrestleMania 21. Io and the rest of Damage Control have really been pushing Bayley to go after Rhea, and she knew that they were just trying to keep her away from Io because they were afraid of what Bayley could do. She showed she knew Japanese when they didn't know that she knew Japanese. Just a lot of great moments and a lot of great story turns throughout the entire feud. And then obviously we built up to Io and Bayley, and I'm really glad there was no interference. I'm really glad that we just got to see them go one-on-one. I do think that we'll probably see another match, or I think we will see the rematch down the road. And I think we're going to see, hopefully, Bayley versus some members of Damage Control in her title reign, in her defenses over the next few months. But this match was great. I loved the counter from the Rose Plant by Io Sky, really well executed. It really caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. I will say I don't love the Rose Plant. I was kind of hoping that she would fully move away from the Rose Plant as a finisher and strictly move to the Bailey to belly. She did hit the Bailey to belly, and she went for it another time in the match. That was great. It was really great to see her just shine with this performance as a babyface, winning that championship at WrestleMania in a singles match. What a WrestleMania moment for Bailey after years and years of just being involved in like multi-women matches and tag matches to finally get her defining WrestleMania moment, in my opinion. The entrance was really great for Bailey as well. Kind of weird that she was being carried out by guys, not like carried on a throne, but just they're all holding her up. Kind of weird. But all that being said, these two ladies showed out. I put it on the same level as Rhea versus Becky. A great match to showcase the talent of the women and WWE at WrestleMania. So 4.25 stars for me. And now we get to Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 2, WrestleMania 40 main event, Bloodline rules for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. This match was everything I wanted and more, except for one key missing element. And that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wanted to hear that glass break. I've been teetering between 4.75 and 5 stars. And let me just kind of give you my thought process on this. This match was really well wrestled. I always get worried when we show Roman and Cody in that tag team match with extensive amounts of time and chunks of the match where they're interacting. Like, are we diluting what they're about to do in this main event on the second night, knowing it's going to be a long match? It was 35 minutes long. And granted, not all of it was just them, because there was a lot of, some people say overbooking, a lot of run-ins, a lot of interactions between other wrestlers involved in the storyline. But I will give these guys credit. They work so well together. I think one of Roman's greatest rivals, when this is all said and done, will be Cody Rhodes, and one of Cody's greatest rivals of all time will be Roman, because they work so well together. And they, from a promo perspective, from an in-ring perspective, from just a character perspective, they really are a dichotomy to each other. They juxtapose each other, and it's great. I would have loved to seen Stone Cold Steve Austin show up in the whole breakdown of here comes Jimmy, so here comes Jay. That spear off the ramp was awesome. Here comes Solo to kind of repeat what happened the year before, and Cody kicks out. But then here comes Cena, which I called and I loved. And then here comes Rox, takes out Cena. Here comes Shield Seth, which was a great callback because he said, hey, I'm going to be your shield against Roman and the Bloodline. But then that Roman took him out. I'm not going to lie. I marked out for a moment. I half expected Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose to show up. But then it being Undertaker was weird. I get it. I've seen a lot of stuff online about why it made the most sense. I just would have loved to seen Austin Stunner The Rock, because the argument that people are making is that Undertaker has beef with Heyman and Roman Reigns, but not The Rock. But Austin has beef with The Rock that goes back decades. So that would have made the most sense to me. However, I still love that moment. The gong hits, super unexpected, chokeslam to The Rock. It was like a Judgment Day 2002 chokeslam, if you understand that reference. And obviously, then it came down to just Roman and Cody, but also Seth Rollins. And then we saw Roman couldn't let it go. It's been 10 years. He had to turn around, and he had to hit Seth Rollins in the back with that chair because he saw him in the Shield gear. He was reminded of the betrayal by Seth Rollins, that plan B that Triple H and the Authority enacted 10 years ago, which did cost him the match. Cody Rhodes hits the hat trick of Crossroads, and he pins Roman Reigns to become the new undisputed WWE Universal Championship. He hands it to his mom. He brings his wife in. He brings all the baby faces in. He cuts a short promo and speech. And I can't give this anything less than 4.75. Does Stone Cold not being there remove the feeling that it should be 5 stars? Last year I gave it 4 stars because I'm so mad about Cody losing. In hindsight, I'd probably give that 4.5 stars. I'm going to give this one 5 stars, actually. I'm going to give it 5 stars. It was perfect. Like, the ending was great. Samantha Irvin's voice cracking towards the end. What I felt just watching that match live was incredible. I haven't experienced a feeling like that in a long time when watching wrestling, just the happiness that you feel and watching the story actually be finished. And it's one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Maybe one of my new favorite matches of all time. I'm going to have to re-look at my top 5 WrestleMania matches of all time. It might have bumped into the top 5, but it's a 5-star match. It's an instant classic. Hats off to Roman for one heck of a reign. No pun intended. And I know people want to like berate him for that reign, but he did such a good job throwing the WWE on his back in such uncertain times, and then carrying the title all the way till now. And then his smile, if you didn't see, he smiled during that pin, because now the weight is lifted off of him, and now we enter into a new era. Post WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes has the WWE Championship. Damian Priest has the World Heavyweight Championship. We are heading into a new time, folks, and I cannot be more excited. So my overall impressions of WrestleMania Night 2, I give it an 8 out of 10. There was a couple of matches there in the middle that just didn't underperform, but they were just there to be there. Now, nothing on WrestleMania Night 2 was as bad as Jay versus Jimmy or the 6-woman tag match, and those matches were fine. The 6-woman tag was just a showcase for Jade Cargill. Jay versus Jimmy never really got going at all. It was a pretty bland match, if you ask me. But I still think that it was a decent night 1. However, night 2 was a full point higher, 8 out of 10. What an incredible show, and probably the best ending to a WrestleMania in the last 10 years, since WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 31 was a great moment, but in terms of like that feel good moment to end WrestleMania 40 hit on all marks, and very excited to see where we go from here. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for all of the love and the build up to WrestleMania, guys. We're over 2,100 subscribers. Now we're on the road to 2,500 before SummerSlam. We're going to release some more gaming content now that WrestleMania is over, but we're going to continue to do at least weekly, if not 2 to 3 times a week, wrestling content now that I can give myself a little room to breathe. And make sure you comment down below how you feel about WrestleMania Night 2. I will see you guys very soon.